My grandparents bought the bus in 1970. My grandpa passed away, so I acquired the bus, and I always had a dream of using this bus as a motorhome. I stopped keeping track of what it cost. I didn't want to know, I just wanted the dream to actually come reality. And then we built the sliding solar rack on top. So I made them actuate on pneumatic cylinders, so they actually slide out when I get somewhere. And then this is my favorite part of the bus. Hi, my name is Josh. This is my bus, Crown in Style. My grandparents bought the bus in 1970. They remodeled it. It's been all over the United States. So growing up as a kid, I was fascinated. If I went to my grandparents' house, I was underneath the bus or I was in the bus. So it was just like in my blood. I just always loved it. And I always had a dream of using this bus as a motorhome. My grandpa passed away, so I acquired the bus and lived in it for a few years. And I had a challenge one time that says, is there anything in your life that you hadn't finished? And the bus popped into mind. I hadn't touched it for 10 years. And I think that just that thought of being able to explore and be free was not something that I grew up with. It took 4.5 years to actually get the bus done. So that was a little bit of a shocker because I was a general contractor for 25 years. I can build this thing in 6 months and I can build it for 40,000 bucks. And I'm sure we crested a couple $100,000 before it was done, and it was 4 years later. And I stopped keeping track of what it cost. I didn't want to know, I just wanted the dream to actually come reality. So the bus is 35 foot bumper to bumper. So it's 280 square feet. So the first thing I did was cut the entire roof of the bus off, and we raised it up 13 inches. I reskinned the entire side of the bus. I rolled new doors because they were all dinged up and dented. I put all dual pane insulated windows in it. And then we built the sliding solar rack on top. I didn't want to lose the look of the round crown bus, what they're known for. So I made them actuate on pneumatic cylinders, so they actually slide out when I get somewhere. Slide them in while we're driving, so it looks cool still. We've got a leveling system. As you can see, the back end is off the ground because we're on a slope. We have jacks in the front as well, so we can lift the bus completely off the ground no matter where we go. These 3 stripes are kind of like unique. It's like the only thing almost left on the bus. The original, besides a couple of the front panels and the back doors and the roof line. Everything else has been completely redone. We built a new 109-gallon fuel tank for the bus because the old one was rotted out. So we can go quite a ways without having to fill up. And I left the original quarter moon glass windows in the back because I didn't want to lose the look of the crown. So coming around to the back. So these are the original back doors, the original lights. That's the pretty cool emblem that came on crowns. I kept the back window as an emergency exit. Inside I have my workshop built in with all my tools in it. So we have a custom built, it's a 187-gallon gray and black tank combined. So we can go about a month without having to dump. We've got some off-road shocks with the bus. We want it to ride really nice. So we spend a considerable amount of upgrades on really getting the softest and the best ride we could. Over here is where our engine's at. So I pulled out the old engine and I built kind of a hot rod. It's about a 500 horse Cummins diesel engine. It's an 855. The engine actually sits on its side, which is pretty difficult to work on, but it gives you good stability driving down the road. So our radiator sits right here, so it sucks it in and it actually blows it across the top of the engine and out. That's why there's so many louvers on the side of the bus, so we can make that cooling happen. We've got cameras all the way around the bus that we use for driving as well as for security at nighttime. I put on some upgraded mirrors because back in those days they had these big kind of clumsy looking things. So we've got some nice new heated mirrors. And then this is my favorite part of the bus, the crown emblem. They only made this for 1.5 years, and somehow I happened to get the coolest one they got. They're very hard to find, very rare. And this is original, so I've repainted it, but it's very kind of rustic looking and try to keep it as original. This was actually painted over and I discovered it when we sanded it down. So I brought it back to the original paint scheme that they had on the bus. When I did the roof raise, I had to fix the windshield, so the windshield is completely custom made. Come on in. All of this is original. This is the original stick shift. I've actually upgraded the motor, put an automatic in it, but I left this because it just looks cool. This is our camera screen. The gauges have been updated, but still as original looking as I could get. It's the original steering wheel. I did a nice custom captain's chair because I want to, have my cockpit up here while I'm driving. We did a mini split in here. We got a mini split in the back of the bus. This is the original defroster, which still works. I just replaced the radiator. So when this thing's on, like if the bus is getting hot, I turn this thing on. I mean, it really dumps a lot of heat, helps us stay cool. I repurposed some of the speaker covers. This is actually my diesel heater vent, and I've used these vents throughout the bus to look like original, but this is a heater, and I got a couple of air vents for my solar system. Another unique thing is I actually chopped out the steering column, and I put in an electric assist because it had no power steering. It was really difficult to steer it, so now I have an electric assist that I can just turn the power up or down, and I can just steer it like it's a brand new car. One of the unique features everybody loves is our cubic mini stove. We actually have never used it because we have heated mini splits and we have the diesel heater. It just looks cool. The intent was to use it. However, it's kind of more of a showpiece that it's just kind of fun to have. So underneath the couch is the full power system of the bus. So it's a full Victron system. We've got 400 amp hours of battery at 48 volts. We've got an 8,000 kVA inverter. We have a kind of a special unique box that is bi-directional. So we charge while we're driving. We can charge around 3,500 watts of DC charging. So that at nighttime, if we're driving, there's no sun out, we can still run the mini splits. Like in Arizona, it's very hot at nighttime. So we can charge while we're driving. We got 3,160 watts of solar on the roof. Moving down, we knew that we wanted to have like a big scenery. So we have lots of open windows in here, and we wanted to be able to either work or eat and then have like the outside kind of come in. We have our coffee bar down here. This side is like the picture window. So being at the Tetons, sitting here looking out is amazing. And it also makes the bus feel really big inside. This wood plate right here actually was a feature in the bus, but it was all metal. And I wanted to kind of keep that so it had the same feel. And so we originally had one piece of wood going down and it didn't quite look right. So we actually took that slab, sliced it into 3 pieces, put it back up there, and we think it came out pretty nice. The ceiling is actually the original ceiling from 1954. So we carefully took the ceiling down, we insulated it, we dropped the whole ceiling down, did a little bit of modification, then put the original ceiling back up. So moving into the kitchen, we knew that we wanted a very minimal amount of walls. So we did under counter refrigeration. We did stainless steel tile, which originally we just put stainless steel tile in the shower, and then it looked so good in there, we're like, hey, let's do this in the kitchen. The wood is actually beetle kill pine. All of the wood in the entire bus is beetle kill. So you'll see like on the sliding door, all of the holes, you see the gray in there. That's actually the poison from the beetle, it killing the pine. We have an induction cooktop. The bus is all electric aside from the hot water heater. We have a convection oven, microwave, we can grill in there, we can bake bread in there. These are big pull-out pantry basically. And then I custom made some latches out of some railroad spikes. This is our Victron screen up here, a water pump, and then our slide button for the pneumatic slides for the solar, and then our hot water heater. And then I built a thin pantry, but it also doubles as our bedroom door. So you can open it up, get a little bit of privacy if we need it. And then moving into the bathroom. Kind of a very small sink, which if I did it again, I would probably put a little bit larger sink in. But we do have a cool mirror that I found online. And we have a electric flushing toilet. So this is actually out of a marine application. It was the simplest way to get all of the toiletry stuff over the back axles and back to the back tank. So it's got a macerator pump. It grinds everything up and pumps it. And then our huge shower. So I wanted to have room for 2 in here. So we kind of splurge on the size of the bathroom. Got a real stone shelf in here. Nebia shower head, so it doesn't use a whole lot of water. We also have heated floors. So in the bathroom, we have a switch. We can set a temperature. It heats all the rocks up, makes it kind of cool when you get in the shower. And then our last thing in the kitchen is our pantry. So it's pretty big. We lived in this thing for full time for 2 years, and this thing would be stuffed, but it's big enough. So come on into the bedroom. So underneath the bed, we both have our own his and hers drawers. I didn't mind wasting space by having it feel larger in here. So we put walkways in front of the bed. We lost a couple feet of the bus, but when you're in here, it feels like you're in a bedroom versus cramped in a bus with the bed being level in the bedroom. So it's our other 12,000 BTU mini split with heat. Got a headboard with storage in it. So we got a little bookshelf back there. Usually it's full of books. And then we have a mealy washer. It almost dries your clothes. So we felt that it worked pretty good for having kind of like a higher end washer. We didn't have to really worry about having a dryer in here. And I built a little closet above it. So I think going tiny, the biggest thing that changed my life was getting rid of all of the stuff you accumulate. And when I got rid of all that stuff, I mean, I was just dumping all of that and just having, 2 spatulas, because we only have so much room in the bus. How relieving and like freeing and like you feel light. I felt light doing that. So my one big advice would be to give it the time. And it takes 2 or 3 months, I feel like, to kind of get into the routine of things. So if you're gonna go for it and you get it built and you get on the road, just give yourself some graces and realize that it's challenging, and that's okay.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon with another unique home tour.